Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, it is yours truly. And whew, we've been having quite the summer, I would say. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Ant Green Show. I'm your host, if you don't know already, Mr. Greenhart, aka Rahshawn. And of course, we're here to give you another great episode. We've had quite the summer, I would say, and with the Paris 2024 Olympics wrapping up, or all finished, I should say, we are going to be covering a little bit of that. We're going to be talking about how the Canadian athletes did, of course. We're going to be talking about some highlights, some standouts, and really what made the news when it came to the Olympics for this year. I always love watching the Summer Olympics. I'm more of a summer athlete. I do enjoy winter sports watching them, but some of them are a little bit more challenging. So Summer Olympics was fun. Paris did their own spin on it. There was a little bit of, I guess you can call it controversy in the opening ceremony. Nonetheless, if you were looking for specific sports, specific categories, and that's all you were looking for me, I had a few that I'm going to be talking about today. Those were really exciting. I really liked how those played out. And then to wrap up this episode, we're going to be talking about the 2024 sports season. I guess for most leagues, I know that there's still MLB going on. We always have boxing, UFC, and NFL preseason is starting soon. But we're going to be talking a little bit about some of the champions that have been crowned this year and just kind of what the sports landscape has looked like for 2024 and what to expect for 2025. If you haven't done so already, ladies and gentlemen, we love your support. Please make sure to like this video, share with a friend, and of course, subscribe to the channel. But let's jump into it. So, Paris 2024 Olympics. Yeah, a lot of athletes decided to show out. I think the Tokyo Olympics were a little bit different during the times that we were in. And so with the Paris 2024 Olympics summer, that is, there was a lot more excitement behind some of the sports. I know for people who are fans of basketball, the sports scene going on for the men's and women's Olympics for basketball was really fun. And then, of course, there were some Canadian events that we really wanted to do well in. Some of those were like the swimming, the track and field. And so I want to talk about first the Canadian standouts. And this year we had a handful that really made a name for themselves. One of them in swimming is a lady by the name of Summer McIntosh. So she won 3 gold medals and one of the highest decorated Canadians this year. So she really made her mark when it came to swimming. I know that we do well when it comes to swimming, but the level of competition this year was just insane. And Summer McIntosh, I hope I'm pronouncing it right, McIntosh. She won 3 gold medals, so shout out to her. Breakdancing was a new sport introduced for the Olympics, and Phil Wizard from Canada, he got a gold medal in that. So really cool to see that we got a gold medal in something that was newly introduced. Unfortunately, breakdancing, from what I've heard, will not be in the 2028 Olympics in LA. Just because I think the feedback that they got wasn't as good as what they were expecting. There was that lady from Australia who didn't score a single point and just kind of went out there, did her own routine. I don't know if they're trying to regulate it now and bring it back in a way that they could, have a better structure and not just allow people to dance hip hop routines, or you know what it is, like breakdancing. If it's coming onto the scene for the first time, you want to make an impact. I don't think they made the impact they wanted. So shout out to Phil Wizard for grabbing that gold for Canada. In judo, we had Christina Deguchi scoring a gold medal. So shout out to Christina in judo. Don't play around with those women in Canada. They will throw some karate chops on you. And she did really well. I think overall judo is really fun to watch. I mean, if you're not somebody who's into like mixed martial arts, stuff like that, then maybe not your cup of tea. But you know, judo is something that people should learn. I'd love to learn it myself. I have kind of gotten a little bit of the basics, but to go into full training is different. And for those looking to do mixed martial arts, judo, taekwondo, Muay Thai, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, all of those things are really cool things to adopt. And shout out to Christina for grabbing that gold. And then last but not least, this is a team effort. It was the men's track and field for the men's 100. They scored gold. The closer, Andre DeGrasse, came through when it mattered most and put those jets on them. Shout out to them. Track and field had a lot of, how do you call it? Like they had a lot of highlights, but they also had a lot of excitement. Everybody loves seeing the 100 relays, seeing the 4x100s. Um, Canada was able to pull through. The US is always favorited. There's always a lot of other countries that, out of nowhere might rank a little bit higher. So, Canada's always up against some good competition. Andre DeGrasse, the closer, he's ran against Usain Bolt before. He knows what it takes to compete against the best. And this year, the men's track and field team got that 4x100 relay, the gold medal. So shout outs to those Canadian athletes for being a standout in this year's Olympics. Um, in terms of the medal rankings, Canada, we ranked 12th. We got 9 gold medals, 7 silver medals, and 11 bronze. So kind of what we've been used to. The gold medals are great. I would prefer more silver than bronze, and I would prefer more gold than silver, but I guess you can't always get what you ask for. There's athletes competing all over the world for those same medals. The fact that we got those 9 gold and we ranked 12th would have been nice to crack that top 10 and then slowly inch our way to top 5 and become a sports destination country. We have so much talent here, and it's always great to showcase it on the biggest stage. The medals are nice as a point of an achievement, as a way of showing that your hard work paid off. But for all those athletes, those Canadian athletes that didn't get any medals, that went to compete and didn't hit the podium ranking, it's still a real privilege to be able to go and play to compete at that level. And you're still making a name for yourself by going out there and showing what you could do. And there's always somebody watching. I know for me, if I'm ever competing or doing anything to my best abilities, I want to do it the way that I like, and I want to be my authentic self and give everything I have. So, whatever comes from that is great. But, you do get recognized. Sometimes it's luck. Sometimes it's a little bit of, you just getting that little extra edge. So shout out to all the Canadians that maybe didn't get a medal. I know the US is always very dominant when it comes to the Olympics. They always have the most athletes, so that's probably easy to say. They finished first. They had 126 medals. China finished second with 91 medals, and Japan finished third with 45. So, the landscape of sports is changing on an international level, a global scale. Athletes now, the bar has been risen. They're studying their craft at an earlier age. They're working harder at it. They're connecting with people in the same field to learn from them and grow from them. So, I'm happy where Canada ranked 12th. Thank goodness it wasn't any lower than that, but we could always look to improve. So 2028 Olympics, I want minimum 10 gold medals. I want minimum 10 silver. And if I have to call Athletics Canada myself to make sure that we are getting the best of the best out there, or send them emails or whatever, social media, blow them up. It's time for Canada to start cracking that top 10 and showcasing the talent that we have. But of course, all the other countries out there have really good athletes. So we always got to make sure we bring our A game when it comes to that. Some of the biggest highlights I found for the Olympics this year. I'm a big fan of basketball, so the men's final with US versus France. I watched that game, and Steph Curry, you know, put them all to sleep. So he calls it in his new celebration. LeBron did finish with the MVP, and rightfully so. He had a lot more. Well, I wouldn't say a lot, but the most points accumulated, as well as still being able to carry the team in important games and having that presence. Serbia was a really tough game. He guarded Jokic for a lot of that. And, LeBron as the leader of that team, we saw earlier on, even in the exhibition games, when it came time to closing, they went to him. It doesn't hurt to have a guy like Steph Curry. It doesn't hurt to have a guy like Kevin Durant, whether they're coming off the bench or they're the closing five. And then you have guys like Embiid, Anthony Edwards. Tatum wasn't getting as much love as people thought, especially coming off a championship. So, um, I guess all in all, the US did what they needed to do. They had the team to win, so we're expecting them to get it done. But France really put up a good fight, so shout out to them, especially being the host. Men's 100, Noah Lyles. He's lucky he got away from the Jamaican track and field star. Sorry, I don't have his name off top, but yeah, Noah Lyles, he talks what he talks and most of the time backs it up, but I think a lot of it is just that's his brand, that's his persona. He's kind of like a Draymond Green. He is very talented, but at the same time, you know, sometimes he gets humbled. And in that men's 4 by 100, although apparently he caught COVID, Canada still closed out, and had he been there, who knows if he would have actually helped US to win because it might have just been Canada's turn. He did win the men's 100, so shout outs to him. So that was a pretty big highlight for men's track and field. On the women's side, I think for Simone Biles, she won 4 medals, 3 of them gold, and then the fourth one was silver. Same goes for Summer McIntosh. She won 4 gold medals. So I think there's some women now that are really trying to not only make a name for themselves, but to highlight their sport and to get other women excited about some of those events that are going on. So Simone Biles now, I believe, is probably the most decorated gymnast. Um, I don't know how many Olympics we've saw where she's won gold medals, and this year she just, cleaned up. Who knows if we'll see her in 2028? One thing that I know for sure is a lot of the athletes we saw this year, this may be their last Olympics. Guys like LeBron, people like Simone Biles, um, they're at the age where they've kind of been there and done that. And now it's part of the passing of the torch for the new generation. And I'm excited to see what comes in the next few years. Last but not least, I want to talk about the 2024 sports world, sports seasons that have passed, and some of the champions that we've seen. Boston Celtics, they were the 2024 NBA champions. That was a really, I won't say one-sided NBA finals, but I think that they just had the team built, ready to win that championship now. Drew Holiday, they had depth for defending with Drew Holiday and Derek White. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown were finally able to make it work. And then you have guys like Kristaps Porzingis that will just give you whatever he gives you off the bench, and that just might be enough. So Boston Celtics got it done in the NBA. Florida Panthers, they stole that one from the Edmonton Oilers. I really thought the Oilers had it going to game 7, but in sports, you just never know what happens. Sometimes guys you expect to show up don't guys you expect to show up, you expect them to be there for the big moments, I should say. And the Oilers just didn't have enough at the end. I think that their team now, if they can keep most of the guys together, they could go right back to the finals. Mark my words, you heard it here first. The Oilers can go back to the finals, and I think that this season coming up will be their season. For people living out west, I'm sure they've heard that a lot, that it's always been the Oilers' year, but this is as close as it gets. So, shout out to the Florida Panthers. They're a deadly team. For the last 5 years, the NHL championships, Stanley Cups have been in Florida. So, they're doing something right out there. With all that hot weather, I'm surprised that, they have such good talent, or they're able to attract the people they want. But, guys want to go there and play, and they have a really good team set up, both Tampa Bay and with Florida. So, we'll see what happens for next season, but every year is a new year. So excited to see what comes from that. Kansas City Chiefs. I think we discussed this on a few episodes. Episode 5 might have been. They went back to back. A lot of people didn't expect it. Of course, I didn't, as a Baltimore Ravens fan, for those who know. But yeah, Patrick Mahomes, generational talent, probably arguably one of the best QBs in the league. Probably going to go down as one of the best QBs of all time if he stays on this trajectory. But NFL is an interesting sport because it's not so much like a best of 7 series. It's one and done when it comes to the playoffs. It's wild card playoff matchups. It's sometimes, guys are out every year, and unfortunately injuries are a part of the game. And you hope to keep your guys when it comes to postseason, but if you lose a big piece, someone else has to step in. And I think the Kansas City Chiefs did what they, thought that they were going to do, which was to repeat. Um, San Francisco, shout outs to them. We all thought that it could have been their time. Is Brock Purdy ready? Is he really ready? We're gonna have to wait and see. But yeah, Kansas City Chiefs, they got it done. So shout outs to them. And I'm excited for this new NFL season because every team has almost flipped their script and they don't want a three-peat. I don't want a three-peat. Uh, so we'll see what happens for this upcoming NFL season. Of course, there were some really big UFC fights, boxing fights, the Tank Davis and Ryan Garcia. I hope Ryan Garcia is doing better. I know Tank is, able to fight anybody at this point. He's really the undisputed at this time. So, boxing is something that I enjoy to watch, but some guys, when they stay on top for so long, the Tanks, the Canelos, you just wait to see who that next big superstar is going to be. But for now, Tank has it on lock. And then Don Staley with South Carolina, they, pulled off a big upset against Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark, nothing against her. I think she's great. I think, the media likes to spin things in a way to, get stories, get headlines, get clicks. So she's a really great athlete. I think she hasn't gotten the best reception from some of the other her WNBA peers, I should say. And on the college scene, she's kind of proven everything she needed to, but the South Carolina team, coached by Don Staley, that's a champion if I've ever seen one. And she got it done on the biggest stage. So shout outs to her. And it was really exciting. I haven't really watched women's sports as much as I have been recently. So I think with Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, that kind of feud, it's opened the door now to saying, okay, well, there's great talent for women's sports. Let's start to support it more. Let's start to recognize these athletes for who they are, and you're able to get really high level competition. So the WNBA has really skyrocketed for that, and women's sports as a whole. So really excited to see how women's sports continues to evolve over the years. Ladies and gentlemen, we are at the end of our episode. We had a great time today talking about the Paris 2024 Olympics. We talked about some Canadian standouts. Shout out to Summer McIntosh, Phil Wizard, Christina DeGucci, and the men's Canadian track and field team. We also talked about the medal rankings for Canada. We finished 12th and some of the highlights. And then lastly, we also spoke about the 2024 sports seasons, sports world, some of the champions that have passed, the Celtics, the Chiefs, the Panthers. And then, I'm excited to see what comes up for the 2025 season. Every year, sports guys move on to new teams. Sometimes big pieces go to, preferred destinations, contenders, if I should say. And so, when it comes to NBA, NFL, NHL, I'm going to be watching all of it. You're going to be getting the greatest takes when it comes to the Ant Green Show for anything sports. Of course, we're also covering music and food. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't done so, subscribe to the Ant Green Show. We love your support. We're going to be growing this channel. I'm so excited to explain to you guys what's going on for season 4. We're going to be having our finale episode coming up for this month. And, make sure if you guys want something to be seen in our next few episodes or for next season, please drop a comment, send us a DM. We always love to hear your feedback. I'm signing out. This is Mr. Greenhart, aka RG, aka Rahshawn. We will love to see you guys next time. Thank you so much. God bless. Peace.